Check out this exclusive interview at the G-List Society with your host, Waddie G, right now.
Hello, everyone. This is Waddie G with the G-List Society blog. Thank you for tuning into another episode of the G-Chat, where I do phone interviews with our favorite LGBT personalities. And usually I only talk to one person at a time during these G-Chats, but I have two special guests on this call, and you know them probably on two very big reasons. One, Sunday night at the Grammys, these two gentlemen were one of the 30-plus couples that were shown on live television being married during the Macklemore performance. And then also, too, for us, those of us who've been long fans of the DL Chronicles, I am talking with the creators themselves, Deondray and Quincy Gossfield. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Great. Hey. How are you? How you doing?
I'm well. Just want to say thank you and congratulations on the big day.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this is the first time we've been called publicly, verbally, the Gossfields.
Really? When you were there during Grammy night, cameras are on you, you're down the aisle, you're, looking at each other, saying your ideas, listening to Queen Latifah 58 in your ceremony. I saw some of your, facial reactions. I saw some of the pictures, but can you just walk through us, both of you individually, what were you going through emotionally and mentally during that time?
Well, for me, Deondray, I think when I walked up until that moment, I was just thinking it was how amazing it was that we were getting married on the Grammys. I was all into the glamour of it, to be honest. I was like, wow, this is great. How many people get to say that this was their wedding, that Beyonce performed at their wedding.
Right.
How many people are going to be able to say that?
She opened up for you.
Yes. So, like I said, that's where I was at that. Up until I had some time beforehand to think of the magnitude of it, but I had long since lost that in the excitement and the glamour of it. And it wasn't until I think when we walked out, which is the part that I wish that the audiences at home could have seen, I think that was just as moving as the nuptials exchange was when we were walking up to position by the stage, and the crowd stood to their feet without even being asked to. There was no pages or anybody, saying stand up. They saw us, and it was like they saw us down there waiting to walk on, and I think it started to come to them. Something's about to happen. Wait a minute. These people, they're about to get married? You could see it in the faces. And when we started to walk out, these people, everyone in the stadium stood up and cheered. I looked around the room because I was looking for somebody to look uncomfortable or judgmental or confused. And it's not to say that didn't happen, but in my immediate space, I saw nothing but support. And I had people yelling, at me that I didn't know, go do it, and then as I'm approaching the stage and I'm walking through the crowd, I'm seeing, some of my favorite celebrities are looking. I can't tell you all because it was all a blur now, but people, I was like, oh my gosh, and I couldn't it was so fast I couldn't take it all in, but they were crying. And then I saw people taking their phones out of their pockets and purses, celebrities, photographing us, taking pictures of us. Got to the front, saw Quincy, and I couldn't look him in the face because I have an ugly cry. First of all, I have an ugly cry. My niece had just written me something before I walked out there. She had taken a picture of a necklace around her neck that said courage, and she had wrote 3 lines, and I don't remember what they are right now, but they sent me and Quincy, we were almost, through. But that was before we even got there. So I was already in the mindset that I can't cry. So I'm already fighting tears. Then I see all this adulation and support, and then I look at Quincy, and I'm remembering everything that it took for us to get to this point. Everything that we fought through our relationship and worked through, and all the struggles and the triumphs led to this moment. And I was still okay though, but I wasn't going to look into the face because I didn't want to cry. So I was looking around him, like just past his face. And then I happened to, when I really started to feel myself sort of kind of break, I turned to my left and I caught eyes with Katy Perry. And she had her hand over her mouth, and her eyes were welling up with tears, and they were getting worse and worse and worse. And we kept locking eyes. I kept trying to look away from her, but we kept locking eyes again, and she was not looking away from me. She wouldn't look away. And then when her tears actually started to run down her face and her lips started trembling, then it was like I caught it. I caught the cry virus, and I was done.
The cry virus. I love that.
And I just started bawling. It just resonated on so many different levels. Here we were doing this major statement in front of the country, national television, and the world now. And
right, over 40 million people.
Yeah.
And then it's on YouTube, so I mean, you probably doubled that by now. What about you, Quincy? What were you going through? What were your emotions? What was your mentality through that? I mean, I'm sure it was all kinds of nervousness and excitement.
Well, first for me, it was more the excitement of, oh my gosh, we're about to step out on stage. More of the excitement about the show, making sure that we walk out on time, making sure that I'm lined up with Deondray. Just the technical stuff I was just like nervous about because we had rehearsed it at the Staples Center and it was empty. So, it's one thing to be in that giant empty stadium and then to step out in line, to step out in place and see the thousands of people in there. I mean, it was, as far as the eyes could see, it was just a sea of faces. So that kind of upped the ante. That was like, oh my gosh, my stomach is about to drop right now. So, like Deondray said, our niece had just sent us a text message, and she's 13, going on 14. And that message, I'm a crybaby anyways. So I see that message, and I'm starting to boo-hoo. And then all of our newlyweds, as I like to call them, were like, no, you can't cry. You're going to set us all off. We're going to all be crying. So I had to put it together. I know, because we're all standing in line in the hallway waiting to go out. And while we're waiting to go out, John Legend comes out, and he's like, congratulations, you guys. He, greets everybody and says congratulations. He's rooting for us. And I thought that was awesome, he and his wife. Then the Osbournes walked past us, the dad, the mom, the son, and the daughter, the whole family. And they just went down the line, rooting and shaking their head and, congratulations. I mean, it was really awesome. So, we were pumped up. We definitely were pumped up before we walked out there. And everybody was seated, like Deondray said, and me and Deondray were there. What a lot of people don't realize because of the way it was edited, there were 3 rows of couples. So there was
because I thought I saw 2 maybe.
Yeah, there were actually 3. We were split up in 3. So there was one on the left, one on stage right, and then me and Deondray's line were center stage. So we were the only couples who got split because one half of our spouses were on the other side of the middle stage, and we were, we had to meet in the middle. So just that moment of us not being there together during this extremely nervous moment, I'm by myself. I don't see him, and I'm used to having him right there when, we're about to do something that's a little, nerve-wracking. And so then, we get the cue to start marching, and as we start marching, just like Deondray said, the response of the audience just completely overwhelmed me. Just their faces, they just stood up, started just, clapping and cheering, and people were breaking down into tears. And it was like walking through that. You're just surrounded by faces, just thousands and thousands of faces that are cheering for you. I think in my head, it was like Deondray said. Wow, I can't believe this is happening. I think that we all, all LGBT individuals, we grow up wanting the same approval and the same support that our heterosexual brothers and sisters have. We want our love celebrated just like everyone else's, and you fight for that, and you don't always necessarily feel that from everybody. So at that moment, that alone just raised my tear meter way up.
My tear meter, wow.
Yeah, it went way up, and I hadn't even seen Deondray's face yet. And so then here we coming around that little, where LL Cool J introduced the Queen Latifah. We were coming around that little middle stage, and then I saw him. So it was like we were joined together, and we held hands, and we walked to our space. And he was, having his moment with the trembling lips and his little dimples going inside and out, trying not to cry. And that was like, oh gosh, please don't, because you're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry. So he broke down first, and then when he broke down, I tried to look away from him so that I wouldn't break down at that moment. And Paul McCartney was standing behind him. And we told this story now, I don't know how many times, but it never gets old to me. But Paul McCartney was crying. His eyes were welling up with tears. His wife was just a mess. And he put his hand over his heart, and he nodded at me. And when he did that,
Sir Paul McCartney, wow.
I'm like, Sir Paul McCartney. I mean, come on now. It was Paul McCartney. That's all I can say.
Right. Really.
And so, and it was all happening as Queen Latifah was was officiating, the nuptials, and said that, I now pronounce you, you'll look at your partner, and we said, I do. And the moment of saying I do, it was just so hard to not be a mess, because like Deondray said, you look into your partner's eyes, and you see your history. You see all of your history coming up to this moment, and it's being celebrated by thousands and thousands of people. And the last thing on my mind was how many people were watching at home. Like, literally,
of course, you're in the moment.
Yeah, I had no idea, in America alone, 28 million people were watching. I was just there at that moment, and I remember looking up to the sky, like looking up into the lights, and just feeling how grand this moment was for us personally. Not even the glitz and glam of it, but just how big it felt for my heart, for us, for our relationship. And then we got to, walk off together hand in hand. And oddly enough, one of our best friends was in the audience, Jensen Atwood from Noah's Ark. And Jensen was going crazy. And he was trying to jump down out of the balcony, because he was like at a balcony like right above the floor ground. And he had pushed people all out of the way, and he's like yelling and pointing at us, and he was like cheering, and it was just one of those moments that it's unforgettable. I'm still reeling from it.
No one, besides the 30 of you, no one else will ever have that story. That's just amazing. That's why when I saw the moment, and I had to relive it through YouTube, and then I saw your interviews and some of the pictures. Just like many people, I couldn't help but smile the whole time, because it felt like a fairy tale that just came to life. And then for it to happen to two men of color in love with each other, that's even just beyond.
Oh, man. We got to share this moment with our best friends, who were the other black male couple who got married, Jamal Sims and Octavius Terry.
Yes.
So that made it even more special. Like, literally, those are our brothers.
And I didn't know about them until I saw them on TV. I said, because I was looking for you two, and then I saw a guy with full wavy hair, and I said, he looks familiar. And then some people put it on Facebook and Twitter that it was them. I'm like, oh, what? Two? Oh man, this is history beyond history. Yeah. Oh God, that was amazing. So have you since the big day, and we've already talked about you're not going to have an actual ceremony until the summer. Have you done any celebration in the meantime? Has people try to come flood your house already and send in their congratulations? What's been going on as far as celebration?
Well, we honestly, we haven't really got to celebrate big, but we had a toast the next night, which was a nice turnout considering it was a Monday night for work. There's stuff on it online at I think it's No Download TV on YouTube.
No More Download.
Oh, No More Download TV on YouTube.
I'm gonna catch that because I saw they uploaded a new episode, so I'll catch that definitely.
Okay. So they came and covered it, so you can see little highlights of it. So that was basically the one celebration that we had. The rest has been like a flood of like interviews and media attention. We haven't really slowed down. I mean, today, maybe yesterday was the first day it's kind of tapered off. But just what's cool is we get to relive all these moments because we have to keep telling the story over and over again, and we get to relive them every day since that day. And then there's new photos that keep appearing on the net that show the day, and so it's like every time I see those, we celebrate again. It's like, oh, look at this picture. We didn't see this one. Somebody caught this one. Somebody caught us. Somebody actually caught us saying "I do," which we've been trying to get them to get the video to us. Quincy found out that by just putting in a search of some kind. It was like, look, that's us saying our vows.
No, I was tagged on Instagram by somebody.
Oh, okay.
And it was an Instagram video, of some lady I don't know. And we had a mutual friend, and the mutual friend tagged me and Deondray, and it was us saying I do on video. She was standing behind me, I guess.
Oh, wow. So basically every day we get to have these little mini, micro
moments,
pre-celebrations. Yeah.
So and I've been crying for a week. It hasn't even been a full week, but literally every day I have a moment of bursting out in tears. I'm
really?
So tired of crying.
Aww.
Yeah, I do actually. I told you I'm a crybaby.
Hey, it's all good. It's for at least it's a cry of joy. I mean, it's always great to have tears of joy.